Hi, we the students of ISB would like to take this opportunity to spread the knowledge and learning from one of the most coveted courses at ISB, the Responsible Leadership course. Before we begin, I would like you to think of a situation where you are on the driving seat of a train whose brakes have failed. If you continue on the same route, you are likely to kill five people who are on the track. You have a choice of changing the track and you know that one person is on that track. Do you intentionally change the track to save the other five people but kill one? Or do you continue on the same path and blame it on their destiny? Saving five versus one. What if that one was your relative, your son? Some questions that would never have a correct answer. However, at ISB, this course teaches us to understand the possibilities, use frameworks and theories, and make informed decisions. It is not always about making the right decisions. Sometimes it is only about making a better choice, the better right, or the better wrong. Have you ever charged more hours than you worked on while being on a client engagement? Have you lied that you're unwell just to take extra leaves? Have you bribed the cop for overspeeding instead of paying the challan? Have you purchased copyrighted material that sells for $60 or are you using a friend's copy and you just split the cost? Are these even ethically wrong? If the answer to any of the above questions is yes, stay on. When will the wrong actions become a big enough deal to act on? Where is your threshold? Being the consultant at McKinsey and using the company telephone for personal reasons? Or being the marketing trainee at HUL and claiming false expenses? Being at Goldman Sachs and fudging accounting entries? Or being involved in multi-million dollar fraud as the CEO of a company? To be a responsible leader, none of this can be explained in retrospect and have to be carefully thought over. Such decisions are easily escalated and have led to big losses for major companies and people alike. So, what is responsible leadership? It is the art of motivating, communicating, empowering, and convincing people to engage in a new vision of sustainable development and change. It is an ethical act of inspiring others toward effective, positive change through the accomplishment of a common goal. Through this presentation, we will understand the value-based management system. Further, we will understand the various nuances of making decisions using the most recent example of the billion-dollar fraud by banking giant Wells Fargo. We will then look at possible reasons and solutions at every level of management as we are walking through at different positions in the firm and have different issues and responsibilities. We would further be able to understand that all the issues are applicable across designations, functions, and industries. The difference between current management thought and value-based management thought is that current management thought focuses solely on profit maximization, while value-based management thought takes into consideration the ethical actions that's required to ensure profit maximization along with value creation for the organization. Wells Fargo was under fire a few days ago. There were so many news floating around. In order to meet the sales target, the bank created 2 million fraud accounts for customers across multiple product lines without customer authorization. Apart from the huge fines, the credit score of the customers got affected. This led to major issues for the customers, both financial as well as reputational. While 5,300 employees were fired, not a single high-level executive had been sacked. The top executives had managed to avoid being held accountable legally, financially, and even socially for their actions. Should they return their bonuses? Aren't they ill-gotten gains? Wells Fargo CEO John Stumpf's own stock rose by roughly $200 million while the crimes were being committed. Let me show you a video where Senator Elizabeth Warren rips off son John.
Wells Fargo CEO John Stumpf was pummeled on Capitol Hill after the bank created more than 2 million fake bank accounts under customers' names without their knowledge. Senator Elizabeth Warren eviscerated the bank chief in what is quickly becoming an epic 8-minute smackdown. Here's a taste.
Have you returned one nickel of the millions of dollars that you were paid while this scam was going on?
The board will take care of that.
Have you returned one nickel of the money you earned while this scam was going on?
And the board will do.
I will take that as a no then. So you haven't resigned. You haven't returned a single nickel of your personal earnings. You haven't fired a single senior executive. Instead, evidently, your definition of accountable is to push the blame to your low-level employees who don't have the money for a fancy PR firm to defend themselves. It's gutless leadership. And when it all blew up, you kept your job, you kept your multi-million-dollar bonuses, and you went on television to blame thousands of $12 an hour employees who were just trying to meet cross-sell quotas that made you rich. This is about accountability. You should resign. You should give back the money that you took while this scam was going on, and you should be criminally investigated by both the Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Wells Fargo violated their primary values that are based on their vision. But whose fault is it? Were the sales targets unrealistic? Is it that when one person started creating fraud accounts, the peers followed the lead and started creating fraud ones too, and started believing in such an act, what is called an advocacy effect? Or is it that the middle management were on notice of it and they deliberately prevented them from learning about it? Were there loopholes in the procedures? Should staff or any of the senior executives be subjected to deep and lasting financial penalties? Should staff be fired or asked to retire? Should they be criminally investigated? Did the senior management take an action of firing the employees as a consequential action instead of digging through the problem to find out the root cause? To save face, senior management decided to fire the employees for the creation of the fraudulent accounts. Had they used categorical reasoning, they would have reflected upon their actions and taken the decision based on the impact. Hence, for an organization to run successfully, one should take care of not only the materialistic values but also aesthetic and ethical values. Every employee should live up to the code of the conduct of the organization and be equally responsible and held accountable for their set of tasks. Let's vow to make difficult choices and make them well, so that most of the people who are affected, whether they agree with the decision or not, they respect the decision and the person who made it. This course has definitely helped us be better leaders in our own sphere, and I'm sure it will be as helpful to you today, tomorrow, and in all of your future endeavors. Hope you gained from the session as much as we did. Thank you for your time.